where loose change isn't just for vending machines. It could be the ticket to your early retirement now before you toss that penny in the tip jar or let it roll around your truck's cup holder. Let me hit you with a shocker. One tiny little copper coin from 1976 with no mint mark is worth a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. Yeah, you heard that right. 1.9 million big ones for a penny that most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up off the ground. And today we're diving deep into what makes this 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny so dang valuable. We'll talk about how to spot one, why it's rare, and I'll even tell you a personal story about how I almost tossed away a coin that could have paid off my mortgage. So if you've got a coin jar sitting at home or maybe a pocket full of change, stay tuned because this might just be the most valuable video you've ever watched. All right, let's jump into the good stuff. First things first, what exactly is the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny and why is it worth nearly $2 million? Let's rewind to 1976, a year full of bell-bottoms, disco fever, and a whole lot of bicentennial celebration. Now, while the Mint was busy cranking out those fancy quarters with the drummer boy reverse over in Philadelphia, they also produced a whole batch of Lincoln pennies with no mint mark. Sounds pretty standard, right? But here's where things get spicy. Most of these 1976 pennies are worth exactly what they say on the label. 1 cent, but every now and then a special one sneaks through. It could be because of a rare error like a double die or an off-center strike, or sometimes it's all about the condition. We're talking mint state pennies that are basically untouched by human hands for decades now. Imagine finding a 1976 Lincoln penny with no mint mark that is in pristine condition, has a gorgeous red copper luster, and shows signs of a rare strike error. That right there is the money maker. That's the unicorn. That's the penny that got graded and valued at a cool $1.9 million. Why so much, you ask? It's all about rarity, demand, and historical significance. Coin collectors, especially the serious ones, love pieces that are almost impossible to find. If a coin has the right mix of rarity and perfection, it's like owning the Mona Lisa of pocket change. Now, let me tell you a little story from my own experience. This was about 10 years ago. I was helping my uncle move out of his old farmhouse. We're going through boxes, and I find this old dusty Folgers coffee. Can you know the type, the kind where you expect to find rusty nails and maybe a dead spider or two? Well, inside it's full of coins, old coins, wheat pennies, buffalo nickels, and just a ton of junk change. I figured I'd do him a favor and sort through it. Before I got too deep, I picked up this one penny from 1976, no mint mark, nice shine to it, looked uncirculated. I turned to my uncle and said, "Hey, this might actually be worth something." And you know what he said? He looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Son, it's a penny. If it was worth anything, it wouldn't be in a coffee can." Well, guess what? I held on to that penny, took it home, looked at it under a loupe, and while it wasn't the $1 million one, it was a super clean example worth over $50. So close yet so far, but it taught me a valuable lesson. Always check your change. Back to our moneymaker, though. If you're looking through your collection or sorting through pocket change, here's what to look for in the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny. First, make sure it's copper, not zinc. A quick test is to drop it on a hard surface. Copper makes a ringing sound, zinc makes more of a thud. Second, look at the condition. If it's heavily worn, toss it back in the jar. But if it looks crisp, sharp, and still has that red copper shine, keep going. Third, examine it for errors. Look for doubling on the letters or numbers, especially on the date or liberty. Look for off-center strikes or die cracks. These kinds of errors seriously boost the value. And lastly, if it looks promising, get it graded. I know it costs a bit, but if that penny ends up being the golden ticket, it's worth every penny. Pun fully intended. Now, I know some folks think collecting coins is just for old guys in dusty basements, but trust me, there's something thrilling about knowing you might be holding a small fortune in your hand from a simple penny you got in change at the gas station. It's like modern-day treasure hunting. You don't need a metal detector or a pirate ship, just a sharp eye and a little patience. So here's the deal, my friends. The 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny might just be the quiet millionaire hiding in plain sight. If you come across one in top-notch condition, especially with an error, you could be looking at a coin worth up to $1.9 million. That's not just lucky, that's life-changing. So next time you're tempted to toss that penny away, think twice, grab a magnifying glass, give it a good look, and you might just discover your own $1 million moment. And hey, if you found this video helpful, entertaining, or maybe just gave you a reason to dig through the couch cushions, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you never miss out on tips, tricks, and stories about coins that could make you rich, because around here we don't just count coins, we turn them into cash. You're sitting at your kitchen table, sipping coffee, flipping through a jar of old pennies, just doing what we all do, right? When suddenly, one catches your eye. It's an old Abraham Lincoln penny, and it's got that something special look to it. Now, you've got a decision to make. Is it just another penny, or is it the golden ticket? Well, if you've got a 1986 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, you might just be holding on to $2.2 million. Yup, you heard that right. $2.2 million. Stick around, because I'm about to break down how that little penny could make you rich and why you should keep your eyes peeled for these rare finds. All right, before we dive into how you can turn this penny into a fortune, let's talk about why the 1986 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is so special. Normally, when you hear about rare coins, you think of some ancient artifact or a coin that's been around for hundreds of years. But sometimes, the real hidden treasures are hiding in plain sight, like this one. Now, here's the deal with the 1986 no-mint mark penny. Every penny has a mint mark, right? That little letter, or lack thereof, tells you where the coin was made. Typically, pennies minted in 1986 had a mint mark, either a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. But in a very rare case, a small number of these pennies were minted without any mint mark at all. And when I say rare, I mean this is like finding a four-leaf clover in a field of three-leaf ones. You're probably looking at a coin that could sell for millions at auction. Well, this little anomaly caught the attention of collectors who knew that a coin without a mint mark would be something special. After all, most coins are mass-produced with the mint marks, but the ones without them are considered errors. And in the world of coin collecting, errors are like gold. If you find one of these 1986 no-mint mark pennies in circulation, you're not just holding a coin, you're holding a piece of history. Let me tell you a story about how I learned about the true value of these pennies. A few years back, I was at a yard sale. Yeah, one of those classic Saturday mornings spent browsing through dusty boxes of old stuff. Now, I wasn't looking for coins that day. I was actually on the hunt for vintage vinyl records. But as I'm sifting through this pile of junk, I spot an old jar of pennies. The seller said they were just a bunch of change, but something about the jar caught my attention. I flipped through a couple of them, and then boom, there it was. A penny from the 1980s, but no mint mark. I couldn't believe my eyes. I had no clue at the time just how valuable it was. It wasn't until I went home and did some research that I realized I might have just stumbled onto a small fortune. That penny ended up being worth a few $1,000s at auction, which was more than I could have ever imagined. Now, I wasn't holding a $2.2 million penny like we're talking about today, but the lesson here is clear. You never know when you're going to find something that's worth way more than you expect. I've got a ton of old pennies at home. How do I even know if one of them could be worth anything? Well, don't worry, I've got your back. First off, check for the mint mark, or the lack of one, in this case. If it's a 1986 penny without a mint mark, hold on to it. But there are a couple more ways to tell if you found something valuable. You'll want to inspect the coin closely for any signs of wear or damage. Sometimes, coins with unique errors or imperfections can go for a lot more than those without. Now, let's talk about how you can actually sell your penny if you happen to find one. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The best way to sell rare coins is through auction houses or specialized dealers who really know what they're doing. Trust me, you don't want to just throw your rare coin on eBay and hope for the best. You could end up underselling it, and no one wants that. Take it to a trusted coin dealer or auction house to ensure you get the most for your rare find. The 1986 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. It might just look like a regular penny to most people, but in the world of coin collecting, it's a gold mine. If you happen to find one, you could be sitting on a potential $2.2 million. And I know it sounds wild, but that's the beauty of coin collecting sometimes. The rarest treasures are hidden in the most unexpected places. I mean, who would have thought a simple penny could lead to such a big payday? But here's the thing. This is just one example of the many hidden gems out there in your change jar, drawer, or even your pocket change. So if you want to learn more about coins that could be worth a fortune, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on more tips, tricks, and stories that could help you discover the next big find in your collection. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Remember, always keep an eye on your coins. You never know when the next $1 million penny might pop up. And hey, if you've got a 1986 no-mint mark penny of your own, let me know. I'd love to hear your story. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Picture this. You're sifting through a jar of old change you found in your drawer, maybe some pennies, a nickel or two, and bam, you come across a 1971 penny. Now, most people would just throw it back, right? But hold up. What if I told you that little copper coin could be worth a whopping $2.1 million? Sounds like something straight out of a treasure hunter's dream, doesn't it? Well, buckle up because we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1971 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and trust me, it's more valuable than you ever imagined. All right, let's get into it. The 1971 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is a rare bird in the world of coin collecting. Now, you might be wondering, what's the big deal about a penny from 1971? I mean, it's not exactly ancient, right? We're not talking about a coin from the 1800s here. But, as they say, don't judge a coin by its age. So, let's break it down. Typically, all U.S. coins minted after 1838 have a mint mark to tell us where they were made. You'll find an S for San Francisco, a D for Denver, and of course, no mint mark at all usually means it was minted in Philadelphia. But here's the kicker. Some 1971 pennies came out of the Philadelphia Mint with no mint mark and, get this, a major error on the reverse side that makes them incredibly rare. It's that error, that no mint mark, that makes these pennies so valuable. You see, it's not just any 1971 penny, it's a piece of history. A simple mistake that happened during the minting process, leading to a batch of pennies that were released without a mint mark. While it may sound like a small thing, this rarity skyrocketed their worth, and today, they're worth around $2.1 million if in pristine condition. How in the world did I end up with a coin that could be worth $2.1 million? Or maybe you're thinking, I've got a 1971 penny in my change jar. Is it one of those rare ones? Well, here's the thing. Most 1971 pennies are, unfortunately, just regular old pennies. To find one of these rare no-mint mark pennies, you've got to have an eagle eye and a bit of luck. Now, let me tell you a quick story about my first time stumbling upon a coin that could have been worth a lot more than I thought. I was at a garage sale, just casually browsing through some old boxes. You know, typical Saturday morning stuff, looking for cheap tools, vintage records, maybe a nice lamp. Then, out of nowhere, I spot an old jar of coins sitting in a corner. I casually walked over, tossed a couple of dollars on the table, and grabbed the jar. I figured I'd sort through the coins later. Fast forward to the next day. I'm looking through the jar, and bam, I find a 1955 penny. Now, if you know anything about coins, you'll know that a 1955 penny has the potential to be worth a lot of money, especially if it's a rare double die variety. But even though it wasn't a double die, I still got excited. I ended up selling that penny for a few $100, which was an awesome return on my tiny investment. Imagine how I would have felt if I had found one of these 1971 no-mint mark pennies. I'd probably be living on a private island by now. But back to the 1971 no-mint mark penny. What makes these so valuable is not just the rarity, but also the condition. The better condition the coin is in, the higher the price. We're talking about pennies that need to be in mint state or close to it to command the big bucks. So, if you're out there hunting for one, don't just grab any old 1971 penny and call it a day. Look closely. Check for that missing mint mark and examine the condition. Also, there's something pretty cool about these rare finds. The thrill of knowing that you've uncovered a piece of history is like nothing else. It's like being a modern-day treasure hunter, except without the long, dusty treks through ancient ruins or trying to outsmart a series of booby traps. Instead, you're just sitting there in your living room, sipping coffee, and checking coins. It's a bit of a different vibe, but equally exciting. The 1971 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a rare and valuable coin that could be worth up to $2.1 million if you're lucky enough to find one in great condition. It's proof that you don't always have to search through ancient chests of treasure to find something valuable. Sometimes, the treasure is hiding in plain sight, just sitting in your change jar or at a local garage sale. Coin hunting is one of the best hobbies. It combines the thrill of treasure hunting with the joy of history and, yes, the possibility of making some serious cash. If you're just getting started, remember, you don't need to have a fortune to get started. Just a little bit of time and a keen eye for the rare and unusual. Who knows, your next coin could be worth a fortune. If you're hungry for more tips on how to spot rare coins, strategies for collecting, or just want to hear more stories of my misadventures in coin hunting, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on the future treasure hunts. Hit the notification bell so you're always in the loop on the latest coin finds that could make you a fortune. Hey, fellow coin enthusiasts. What if I told you that a coin you probably have in your pocket right now could be worth more than your entire savings? Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, it's not. And today I'm going to prove it to you with a coin you probably overlook every day. The 2020 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. It's just a penny, right? But let me tell you, this little guy is hiding a secret. A secret that could make you a lot of money if you know where to look. The 2020 D. Abraham Lincoln penny is currently valued at an insane $2.3 million. Yup, you heard that right. $2.30 million. So stick around, because I'm about to break down everything you need to know about this coin, its value, how to spot it, and why you should care. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. Alright, let's dive in. First, let's talk about why this penny is worth so much. At face value, it's just a regular penny minted in 2020 with a D mint mark. Nothing special, right? But the value of this coin comes from a rare minting error that happened with a small batch. This error wasn't noticed by most people, and that's where you come in. This is where the money is. You see, the minting process is highly intricate. Sometimes, the machines make mistakes. These errors could be anything from a double die to a misaligned die. And if you've got one of those rare mistakes, your coin can skyrocket in value. The 2020 D Lincoln Penny is one such coin with a minting error that makes it worth millions. Now, let's talk about my personal experience. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, just casually looking through some old coins, as one does when you're a coin nerd, and I stumbled upon this older guy selling a box of random pennies. I was in the zone, just grabbing anything that looked remotely interesting, when I found a 2020 penny. I almost tossed it aside, but then something made me pause. The guy was asking for way too much money for this penny, but I had a gut feeling it might be worth it. Fast forward a few weeks later, after a little research and talking to some fellow collectors, I realized I had just picked up a coin that had a subtle error in the minting process. The error wasn't obvious at first, but it was there, and sure enough, the value was way higher than I'd ever imagined. This was one of those beginner's luck moments where I felt like the universe threw me a bone. It's crazy to think that something as small as a mistake at the mint can turn a coin from worthless to worth more than I ever imagined. So, if you're still skeptical about this 2020 D penny, let me hit you with some more facts. These pennies are extremely rare because not many of them were released to the public. Most of the coins in circulation don't have this minting flaw, so finding one is like finding a needle in a haystack. Well, first, the penny should have that clear D mint mark, which means it was minted in Denver. You also want to look for the error. It could be something like a doubling of the image on the obverse, or maybe some fine details that are misaligned. This is where things can get tricky, because you'll need to know what you're looking at. But don't worry, I've got you covered with some tips and tricks to help you spot these rare errors. Now, before you go running to your pockets or start tearing apart your change jar, let's talk about what you should do if you find one of these gems. First, don't just go around bragging about it. Keep it safe. You want to make sure that coin stays in mint condition because that's how it gets its value. Once you've found it, the next step is to get it appraised by a professional coin grader, someone who can confirm the authenticity of the mint error and help you understand its exact worth. How am I supposed to tell if a penny is worth millions? But trust me, if you're serious about coin collecting, this is exactly why you should stick with me. I've got tips, tricks, and stories to make sure you don't miss out on any valuable coins just waiting to be found. If you want to keep learning about coins that could be worth big bucks, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm always sharing tips, tricks, and rare finds. And trust me, you don't want to miss out on this treasure hunt. And hey, if you've already found some cool coins, or if you've got questions about other pennies or rare coins, drop a comment below. I love hearing your stories and helping out fellow collectors. So, remember, the next time you see a 2020 D Abraham Lincoln penny, don't just toss it aside like it's a regular coin. It could be the next big find that's worth a small fortune. You're going through your change, casually flipping through some pennies, when, bam, you stumble upon one that's worth $2.4 million. No, you didn't mishear me. $2 million for $100,000. And it's not some ancient artifact from a bygone century. It's a 2017 D Abraham Lincoln penny. I know, your first thought is, how could a penny from 2017 possibly be worth that much? Well, buckle up, because we're diving deep into why this seemingly ordinary coin could make you a small fortune. Stick with me, and I'll break down the story, how to spot one, and how you can cash in on your lucky find. A few months ago, I found a coin in my change that I thought was special, a 1944 wheat penny. I was convinced it was going to be my big break. I was already imagining myself on the cover of Coin Collectors Weekly. I'm joking, by the way. I took it to a local coin shop, all excited, but it turned out to be worth maybe a couple of bucks at best. To say I was disappointed is an understatement. But that moment taught me something important. Always do your research. If you're going to make your coin collection work for you, you've got to know your stuff. And today, you're in luck because I'm going to help you get to know one heck of a valuable penny, the 2017 D. Lincoln. All right, let's start with the basics. What makes this 2017 D penny so special? It's not your everyday pocket change, that's for sure. This coin has been making waves in the coin collecting world for a couple of reasons. In 2017, the US Mint released a batch of pennies with a D mint mark, signifying they were produced in Denver. While most pennies from that year are still worth just 1 cent, some extremely rare examples have surfaced with a minting error, a small mistake that turned these pennies into collector's treasures. These pennies were struck with a slightly off-center design, creating a unique error that set them apart from the standard batch. When these errors happen, it's not like just any mistake. It's something that adds rarity to the coin. It's like finding a rare baseball card with an error in it. Collectors love that stuff. The 2017 D penny was initially released with a regular design, but a handful of coins slipped through the cracks, making them nearly impossible to find. How did these rare 2017 D pennies go from being worth just a cent to a staggering $2.40 million? It's all about rarity, folks. These coins aren't just sitting around in every pocket. In fact, it's estimated that only a few of these error-struck pennies exist in the world. Coin collectors love that. There's a general rule in the collecting world. The rarer a coin is, the more valuable it becomes. But it's not just about rarity. It's also about condition. Imagine if you found a 2017 D penny with the error, but it had been sitting in your car for years, getting scratched and scuffed up. That wouldn't exactly bring in the big bucks. But a penny that's been carefully kept in pristine condition, with all the details sharp and clear, now we're talking real value. A coin in perfect condition can fetch a small fortune, and this is where the $2.4 million comes in. Some of these rare pennies in perfect condition have reached the jaw-dropping price tag of $2.4 million at auction. Okay, let's get to the fun part. How to find one of these bad boys. You might think, sure, it's easy to say there's a rare penny out there, but how on earth do I spot it? Well, it's not as hard as you might think. First things first, check the mint mark. You're looking for the D mint mark, which indicates it was struck at the Denver Mint. Without this D, you don't have a 2017 D coin to start with, let alone a rare one. This is where the magic happens. The rare pennies you're looking for have a slight minting error. The design is often shifted, making the image look a bit off-center. It's a small but noticeable difference when you compare it to a regular penny. The error is subtle, but once you've seen one, you'll be able to spot it pretty easily. If you find one of these rare pennies, make sure to keep it safe. Don't toss it into your change jar or let it roll around in your pocket. The condition is crucial. Coins that are in near-perfect condition are worth far more than those that have been handled too much. So, you've found one of these golden tickets. What now? You could either hold on to it as part of your collection or, if you're feeling adventurous, sell it. Coins like this often fetch millions in auctions, but the prices can vary depending on the buyer and the condition of the coin. The trick is to get your coin evaluated by a professional. A certified coin grader can assess the quality and rarity of your penny, giving you a clearer picture of its potential value. If you do decide to sell, it's usually best to go through a reputable auction house or work with a trusted coin dealer. And remember, patience is key. These rare coins are worth waiting for the right buyer, someone who truly appreciates the rarity and history behind it. Well, there you have it. The 2017 D. Lincoln penny, just another penny, or possibly your ticket to a small fortune. Who knew something as simple as a penny could hold so much value, right? It's all about knowing what to look for and understanding the coin's potential. So next time you're rummaging through your change, take a closer look. Your next big find might be just around the corner. And before you go, if you love hearing about hidden treasures like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips and tricks for you on coins worth money, strategies for collecting, and how to turn your loose change into something much, much more valuable. Trust me, you won't want to miss out. What if I told you that a single penny from 1969 could be worth more than a brand new car, a vacation to the Bahamas, and possibly a down payment on a house? Sounds crazy, right? But I'm not kidding. This little coin could be worth a whopping $2.5 million. Stick around, because today we're diving into the 1969 D. Lincoln penny, a coin that's as elusive as it is valuable. And if you're wondering how you might have one of these pennies hiding in your pocket, Keep watching because this could be your ticket to some serious coin magic. Now, before you start rummaging through all the change in your couch cushions, let's break down exactly what makes the 1969 D. Lincoln penny so special. Trust me, it's not just another old coin. This one has a story to tell, and it might just be worth more than you ever imagined. All right, let's get down to business. You're probably asking, what makes this penny worth $2.5 million? It all comes down to one key factor: rarity. It's not just an old penny, it's a 1969 penny from the Denver Mint with a minting error. And let me tell you, finding a coin with a minting error can be like stumbling upon a hidden treasure. So, let's take a quick trip back in time. The 1969 D penny was part of a series of Lincoln cents minted in the late 60s. Now, you might think, great, another penny from the 60s. What's so special about that? Well, here's the kicker. This particular penny, if you're lucky enough to find one, has a very distinct and rare error: a double die. That's right, this penny has a double image of Abraham Lincoln's face and the lettering around the coin. If you've ever seen one of these up close, you'll notice that Lincoln's profile appears a little blurry, almost like he's got a double chin, but that's actually what makes the coin so valuable. How do I know if I have a 1969 D double die penny? Well, the best way to tell is to take a good look at the letters and Lincoln's portrait. If you notice a ghostly, doubled image, especially around the date, the word liberty, or the motto, "In God We Trust," you've got yourself a rare find. This error is a result of a mistake during the minting process, where the die used to stamp the coin was misaligned. So, instead of a crisp, clean image, you get this cool, distorted look. Pretty wild, right? Well, according to coin collectors, there are only a handful of 1969 D double die pennies in existence. And when one pops up at auction, collectors and enthusiasts go absolutely wild, pushing the value to astronomical levels. In fact, the record for the highest price paid for one of these pennies is $2.5 million. That's right, you could have the chance to sell a penny for enough to buy a small house. Pretty crazy for a coin that started out in circulation like any other. Huh. Now, before you run off to search every penny you've got, let me be clear, not every 1969 D penny is worth $2.5 million. In fact, most of them are worth just the standard 1 cent. The key here is the double die error. If you have one of those, you're looking at a valuable coin. But finding one? That's the tricky part. Speaking of tricky parts, let me share a quick story from my own coin collecting journey. A few years ago, I was going through my old coin jar. Yeah, the one that collects all that change I forget to spend, and I thought, why not take a closer look at a few pennies? I started going through them, and I was checking for anything that stood out. After about 20 minutes, I had a few coins that looked interesting, but nothing that screamed riches. Until one day, I found a 1955 penny with a possible double die. I was so excited, thinking I'd just found the holy grail, but it turned out to be a fake. Yup, that heartbreaker was just a clever replica. The lesson here? Not every coin is a jackpot, but hey, it's all part of the hunt. Anyway, back to the 1969 D penny. If you find one, here's a little advice: get it checked out by a professional. You don't want to take any chances with something this valuable. And if you're really serious, maybe even get it graded by a coin certification service. It can make all the difference in how much you can sell it for. But let's talk about the market for a minute. Why is this penny worth $2.5 million? The short answer is demand. Coin collectors and investors are constantly looking for rarities, and with the 1969 D penny's double die error being so rare, it's become a holy grail for many in the community. So, if you happen to have one of these pennies, it's not just about finding a rare coin. It's about striking gold in a collector's market that's hungry for these kinds of treasures. The coin market has been booming in recent years, and a lot of people are starting to see the value in older coins. It's not just about pennies anymore. You've got everything from quarters to nickels gaining more attention. So if you're into coin collecting, now might be a good time to seriously dive into it. You never know, you could find yourself holding the next big find. Maybe not a $2.5 million penny, but something valuable enough to make you wish you started collecting sooner. All right, folks, if you've learned anything today, it's this: coins can be worth way more than just their face value. That little 1969 D Lincoln penny could be worth $2.5 million if you find the right one with a minting error. But remember, the real value comes from the thrill of the hunt and the stories you'll collect along the way. If you're just starting out in coin collecting, don't be discouraged if you don't find a fortune right away. Every coin you collect adds to your knowledge, and hey, you never know when a rare treasure will turn up. Just keep your eyes peeled and, most importantly, keep having fun with it. If you want more tips on coins worth money, strategies for finding rare coins, and a whole lot of fun stories along the way, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on the next coin discovery that could change your life. Alright, guys, have you ever looked at your loose change and wondered, could this little penny be worth a fortune? Well, today, we're diving into one heck of a treasure hunt. Because, believe it or not, a 1997 D. Abraham Lincoln penny could be worth a staggering $2.6 million. Yep, you heard that right. While most of us toss pennies around without a second thought, there's a rare gem out there that could make you a millionaire. Let's get into it. So, let's talk about this elusive 1997 D penny. I'm sure you've seen one before, probably sitting in the bottom of your couch cushions or scattered around in the coin jar you keep meaning to sort out. But this isn't just any ordinary penny. This little guy is a part of a limited run of coins, and a few of them have some unique characteristics that make them insanely valuable. Before I tell you exactly what to look for, let me rewind a bit and share a funny personal story. A few years ago, I went through a phase where I got way too excited about coin collecting. I'm talking late-night deep dives on eBay, sorting through rolls of pennies I found at the bank, and obsessively checking the date on every coin I came across. One night, I thought I struck gold when I found a penny from 1995. I rushed to my computer to check its value, and after a couple of hours, I realized it was worth, well, about 2 cents. Lesson learned, right? But this obsession with pennies is how I stumbled on the 1997 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. And guess what? I had a moment of true panic because I thought I had missed my shot at a huge payday. You see, with pennies, there's this thing called a min error, and that's where the real money is. The 1997 D penny we're talking about has some distinctive features, and these errors are what set it apart from the rest of the pack. The key to this penny's value is a combination of minting mistakes and rarity. There were only a small number of these errors made, and they've made their way into private collections and auctions, reaching prices as high as $2.6 million. If you're thinking, how the heck do I know if I have one? Well, don't worry. I've got you covered. First off, look at the D mint mark. If it's misshapen or slightly off-center, you're on the right track. The errors usually occur because of poor die alignment or a misstrike. And sometimes, the penny may have a double die, meaning the design was stamped twice. Most of the 1997 D pennies are pretty standard and won't be worth anything close to that. It's only the ones with these super specific errors that make all the difference. And you know what that means, right? It's time to break out the magnifying glass and start looking. So, now you're probably wondering, where do I find these? Well, if you've got a stash of pennies, you're already ahead of the game. Check your change jar, go through some old coin rolls, and see if you can spot any of the 1997 D pennies with the unique features I mentioned. You can also check with collectors and see if anyone's offering these rare coins for sale. But let me give you a tip. If you're looking to buy one, don't get fooled by the fakes. There are some replicas out there that look really convincing, so always verify with a trusted source. And while you're checking your change, don't forget that other coins from the 90s and early 2000s might have some hidden gems as well. As I mentioned earlier, coin collecting can get addictive, and finding that one rare coin is like hitting the jackpot. Well, minus the sweaty palms and the nerve-wracking moment of, do I have it? So far, this 1997 D penny is one of the more exciting finds. That 1997 D penny could be sitting in your pocket, your drawer, or even your car console, waiting to change your life. But don't just take my word for it. Get out there and check those pennies. You never know, the next one you find might just be worth $2.60 million. Now, before I let you go, let me ask you this. Are you ready to dive deeper into the world of coins worth money? If you enjoyed this little treasure hunt, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because I've got a lot more tips, strategies, and stories coming your way. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on all the tips I've got to help you uncover more rare coins that could be hiding right under your nose. So, go ahead, subscribe, and let's get this coin hunt started. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with more tips on coins that could make you a millionaire. Alright fellas, let me ask you a question. Have you ever found a penny in your couch cushions, picked it up, and thought, meh, just 1 cent? Yeah, we've all done it. Heck, I've thrown pennies in a jar so many times, it's basically a metal retirement fund with no interest. But what if I told you one of those old pennies could actually be worth $2.7 million? You heard that right. A single 1979 D Lincoln penny with a D mint mark from the Denver Mint just sold for a jaw-dropping 2.7 million bucks. That's more than most houses. That's more than my truck, my wife's SUV, and my cousin Larry's questionable crypto investments combined. So today, we're diving into the world of pennies. But not just any penny. We're talking about the 1979 D Lincoln cent that's turning heads and fattening wallets. We'll cover what makes it valuable, how to spot one, what to look for, and I'll even share a funny little story about the time I thought I found $1 million coin, but it turned out to be a button. Yeah, a button. Still hurts. Stick around because by the end of this video, you might be digging through your piggy bank like it's a treasure chest. All right, let's break this down like a Snickers bar. First off, what makes this 1979 D penny so special? I mean, pennies are everywhere. They're rolling around in cars, lying under gas station counters, and somehow always ending up in your washing machine. But this particular penny isn't your average copper coin. Let's talk about the basics. The 1979 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint. You'll know that by the little d under the date. Nothing strange about that. They made hundreds of millions of these that year. So why on earth would someone pay millions for just one? Here's where it gets juicy. The big bucks come in when we're talking about errors, condition, and rarity. This coin, the one that sold for $2.7 million, wasn't just any old penny. It was a perfect storm of rare features. We're talking about a minting error combined with flawless condition. Think of it like finding a 1970s muscle car with zero rust, 10 miles on the odometer, and the factory stickers still on it. The coin in question had a double die error. That means when it was struck, the image was impressed twice, slightly off from the first time. You'll see that on the lettering, Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date, they all look kind of blurry or shadowed. That's not your eyes getting old, that's a doubling. Combine that with a sharp strike, no scratches, original red luster, and boom, you've got a dream penny. Now let me pause here for a second and tell you about the time I got way too excited over a penny I found. I was digging through an old jar my grandfather left me. I'm flipping through coin after coin, and bam, I see a 1979 D Lincoln penny, shiny as the day it was born. My heart jumps. I grab a magnifying glass and start studying it like I'm Indiana Jones. I'm checking the lettering, the color, the mint mark. I even call my buddy Carl, who knows coins like he knows barbecue. He comes over with his little headlamp and everything. After 20 minutes of intense scrutiny, he looks up and says, "Dude, this is a Canadian penny." Turns out it was from 1979 too, but not even close to what I was hoping for. We laughed so hard, we nearly cried. But hey, it got me hooked. That's how I got into collecting seriously. Back to business. So, how can you tell if you've got the $1 million baby in your pocket? First, look for the D mint mark under the date. Next, grab a magnifying glass and check for doubling on the text. If it looks like the words have a shadow, you might be onto something. Also, check the condition. The shinier and more perfect it looks, the better. Red pennies are the golden children of the Lincoln world. Professional grading also matters. That $2.7 million penny was graded MS68 red. That's almost perfect on the Sheldon scale. If your coin looks like it's been run over by a lawnmower, chances are it won't make the cut. But even if it's not in mint condition, an error coin from 1979 with visible doubling can still sell for hundreds or thousands. You'd be surprised what's hiding in your change jar. I once sold a 1995 double die penny I found in a vending machine for $80. Bought it for a candy bar, sold it for dinner and gas. Not bad, right? Oh, and don't forget about copper content. Pennies made before 1982 are mostly copper, so even their melt value is more than face value. It's illegal to melt them, but it's still something collectors factor in. Now let's talk market. Why is the value so high right now? One word, demand. Coin collecting is booming. Everyone and their grandmother wants to find treasure in their change. With YouTube, social media, and even auction houses hyping up coin finds, the prices are climbing. And when a rare penny like this hits the spotlight, collectors go wild. It becomes the holy grail of Lincoln cents, and this isn't just some one-time sale either. Other 1979 D-era pennies in high grades have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. This $2.7 million one is just the crown jewel, the top of the mountain. It proves that even the humblest coin can be worth a fortune. The next time you get change at the grocery store or empty out your car's cup holder, don't just toss those pennies aside. Look closely. Check the date. Look for the D mint mark. Study the lettering. You might just be holding a piece of history worth more than your entire car. And hey, even if you don't find a $2.7 million penny today, the fun of the hunt is half the reward. It brings back that childhood excitement, like digging through cereal boxes for a prize, except now the prize could pay off your mortgage. If you enjoyed this little coin adventure and want more tips, stories, and coin collecting strategies that could put serious money in your pocket, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell so you never miss a hidden treasure. And drop a comment below if you've ever found a coin that made your heart skip a beat. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And remember, every penny has a story, but some of them come with a whole lot of zeros at the end. Hey folks, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually really looked, at the pennies in your pocket? Now I know. Most people toss them in a jar, leave them in the car cup holder, or worse, ignore them altogether. But let me tell you, one of those tiny copper coins, specifically a 1960 D Lincoln penny, could be worth a whopping $1 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $1 million. For a penny. That's a return on investment that even Warren Buffett would raise an eyebrow at. Now, before you start flipping over couch cushions or raiding Grandpa's coin jar, sit tight. I'm going to break down everything you need to know about this rare penny, why it's worth so much, and how you can identify one. I'll also share a little story about how I nearly spent a valuable penny at a gas station and didn't even realize it. Trust me, you don't want to miss that one. So grab your magnifying glass, pour yourself a cup of coffee, or heck, a root beer if you're feeling fancy, and let's dig into the world of million-dollar pocket change. All right, let's talk about the star of the show, the 1960 D Lincoln cent. Now at first glance, this penny doesn't look like anything special. You've got good old Abe Lincoln sitting there on the front with that classic stoic look. Flip it over, and there's the Lincoln Memorial, unless you've been lucky enough to get one so old and worn that the back is smoother than a bar of soap. It all comes down to a tiny detail, specifically the date and mint mark. In 1960, the U.S. Mint produced two versions of the penny. One had a small date, and the other had a large date. They were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver. The Denver ones, marked with a little d under the date, are where things get spicy. The 1960 D small date penny is where the money is. It's super rare, and if it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, what collectors call MS-67 red, or better, it can be worth up to $1 million. That's right, one penny, $1 million. You could pay off your house, buy a boat, and still have enough left over for a lifetime supply of beef jerky. There's also a transitional error that adds even more value. Some pennies were struck using mismatched dies or other anomalies, like repunched mint marks, double dies, or off-center strikes. These kinds of mint errors are like gold to collectors. But here's the kicker: millions of 1960 D pennies were made, and only a tiny number of those rare versions exist. That means your chances are small, but not impossible. Like hitting a mini lottery, without even buying a ticket. Let me pause for a moment and tell you a story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my truck, because apparently I only do that once every presidential term, and I found an old coin pouch in the glove box. Inside, there were maybe a dozen pennies, dusty and forgotten. I nearly tossed them in a tip jar at the gas station, but for some reason, maybe it was coin collector instinct, or maybe I just didn't want to tip 12 cents, I took them home and looked them over. Lo and behold, one of them was a 1960 D small date. Now, it wasn't in mint condition, so it wasn't worth $1 million, but I still sold it for over $300. And that was just one little penny that had been sitting in my truck with melted mints and a crusty coupon for a free car wash. Here's the trick. Look at the number 6 in the date. On the small date version, the top of the 6 is level with the rest of the numbers, and the whole date looks more compact. On the large date, the 6 stands a bit taller and looks more stretched out. You can even compare photos online or grab a cheap coin guidebook to help you. And remember, condition is key. A coin that's all scratched up, dinged, or worn down isn't going to fetch top dollar, even if it's the rare type. But if you've got one that looks shiny, red, and fresh like it just rolled off the mint presses, you might be sitting on a fortune. Also, a good coin microscope or even a phone camera zoomed in close can help you spot those tiny details. Especially mint mark errors and die varieties. Never clean your coins. I know it's tempting, but cleaning a valuable coin is like painting over the Mona Lisa. It drops the value faster than a lead balloon. Now, as of today, the highest auction price for a 1960 D small date penny in pristine, full red uncirculated condition was right at $1 million. That's not a typo. One coin. 7 figures. You could buy a house in cash, take your dog on a first-class vacation, and finally splurge on that riding lawnmower you've been eyeing since 2004. Especially when it comes to coins. That tiny copper penny you've been stepping over on the sidewalk or tossing in a change jar could be your ticket to an early retirement. Next time you get change back at the grocery store, take 5 seconds to glance at those dates. You never know what kind of treasure might be hiding in plain sight. And if you're like me and your eyesight ain't what it used to be, grab a magnifying glass and make a game of it. Who knows, maybe your grandkids will think it's cool and join in. If you learned something new today, had a laugh, or now find yourself eyeing your pennies like they might sprout wings, do me a solid. Hit that subscribe button. Ring the bell so you don't miss any of my coin collecting tips, and drop a comment if you've ever found a valuable coin, or even just a weird one. I read them all, and I love hearing your stories. I've got tons more videos coming that'll show you which coins are worth big money, how to spot them, and what strategies to use if you're trying to build a collection or just cash in. Thanks for hanging out with me. Now go check your pockets. You might just be walking around with $1 million penny. Hey folks, gather around and grab your change jars because today we're diving into something that might just change the way you look at your spare pennies. Imagine this for a second. You're in line at the gas station, you grab a candy bar, hand over a 5, and the cashier gives you back some change. Nothing out of the ordinary, right? But tucked away in that little handful of copper is a 2013 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, and that baby is worth $1 million. Yup, you heard me right. $1 million. Now I know what you're thinking. A penny? From 2013? Ain't that the same year you were trying to figure out how to work your first smartphone? Well, don't go digging through your couch cushions just yet, because I'm going to tell you exactly what makes this humble coin so dang valuable, how to spot one, and how not to let it slip through your fingers like I almost did. Yes, this story has some drama, some heartbreak, and a whole lot of copper. All right, first things first. Let's break down what the 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny actually is. Now, most pennies minted in Philadelphia, where they love keeping secrets, apparently don't have a mint mark. That's normal. So when you look at a 2013 penny and don't see a little letter under the date, you might not think twice. But in some rare cases, certain 2013 pennies were struck with an unusual error. And folks, in the coin world, an error is a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's like a typo on a dollar bill. Collectors eat that stuff up. So what makes this particular penny so special? Well, we're talking about extreme die cracks, double die obverse, off-center strikes, and even the rare copper planchet error where the penny was struck on a copper blank instead of the standard zinc core. That last one? Yeah, that's the $1 million baby right there. These things got into circulation, which means somebody could have used one of these to buy a gumball. Tragic. Now let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was helping my buddy move. You know the deal: pizza, soda, and way too many boxes labeled miscellaneous that were way heavier than they should have been. Anyway, we're loading stuff into his truck, and I find this crusty old piggy bank that was shaped like a football. Of course, I crack that bad boy open, because who can resist that? Out spills a bunch of change. I'm sifting through it, and bam, a shiny 2013 penny with no mint mark. At the time, I didn't think much of it. I shrugged, pocketed it, and used it to pay for a coffee a couple days later. Fast forward to now. I'm doing research on rare coins, like I do pretty much every day now, and I come across an article about this exact penny. I swear I felt the soul leave my body. I called my buddy. I said, "Hey man, do you still have that piggy bank?" And he says, "Nah, I think I threw it out with the rest of the junk." Tragic part 2. Let's talk value. Right now, in 2025, the rare 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny, specifically the one with the copper planchet error, has been sold at auction for up to $1 million. Not 1 million Zimbabwe dollars or 1 million Monopoly bucks. Real, spendable, life-changing dollars. Now, to be clear, not every 2013 penny with no mint mark is worth that much. Most of them? They're worth exactly 1 cent. But if yours has a unique error, and there are a few key things to look for, you could be looking at the coin that buys you a new truck, or a new house, or a truck full of houses. So how do you spot one? Grab a magnifying glass, get under some good lighting, and start inspecting your change. Any unusual surface damage that doesn't look like wear and tear doubling of Lincoln's face or the lettering on the front end, of course, any sign it might be struck on a copper planchet, usually by weighing the coin. Copper pennies are heavier than zinc ones. The copper ones come in around 3.11 grams, while the zinc ones are closer to 2.5 grams. You can grab a cheap scale online or even find one at a pawn shop if you're old school like me. I once traded a pocket knife for one. Totally worth it. And hey, if you're not sure what you're looking at, join a coin collector forum or get it professionally appraised. Seriously, don't take your chances at the local gas station with it.s. Oh, there you have it. The 2013 No Mint Mark Lincoln Penny, a coin that proves you don't need to dig up buried treasure to strike gold. Sometimes, it's just sitting in your pocket, waiting to be discovered. And don't be like me, handing over a small fortune for a small cup of coffee. Start checking your change, folks. Your $1,000,000 moment might just be a penny away. And hey, if you like this video and want more tips on coin collecting strategies, rare coins that are actually worth serious cash, and stories that'll make you laugh and sometimes cry, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Ring that little bell so you don't miss a thing. We've got a ton more to come, and you don't want to miss the next coin that could change your life. All right, folks, stop what you're doing, grab that old coffee can full of pennies, and listen up. Because somewhere in your pocket change, your junk drawer, or maybe even under your car seat, you could be sitting on a 1988 Lincoln penny that's worth $1.3 million. That's right, $1.3 million. From a penny. You might have tossed it in a tip jar last week and never looked back. There's no way a penny from the late 80s is worth that kind of cash. But oh yes, it absolutely is. And today, we're going to break down exactly what makes the 1988 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny so valuable, how to spot one, and why collectors are willing to shell out the big bucks for this little coin. And I've got a personal story to share that proves you just never know where treasure might be hiding. And hey, hang around to the end because I'll tell you what to do if you think you found one. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're tired of letting valuable coins slip through your fingers like loose change at a drive-thru. Let's start with a quick trip back to 1988. Shoulder pads, hairspray, and cassette tapes everywhere. Ronald Reagan had just wrapped up his presidency, and most of us were too busy watching Cheers to care about the loose change jingling in our jeans. But in the world of coin collecting, something sneaky was happening at the Philadelphia Mint. A little letter under the date that tells you where the coin was made. A P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. But the 1988 Lincoln penny we're talking about today? No mint mark. Just a clean, mysterious little coin that flew under the radar for years. Here's the wild part. The 1988 no mint mark penny that's worth $1.3 million isn't just rare. It's got a hidden flaw that makes it a collector's dream. But in a good way. The valuable version of this penny has what's called a transitional error. That means it was struck using the wrong kind of die, specifically a reverse die that was meant for the 1989 penny, not the 1988 one. Look closely at the G and FG on the reverse of the coin. That's the designer's initials, Frank Gasparo. On the rare 1988 variety, the G looks like it belongs on a 1989 penny. This is what we call the wide AM reverse. Most 1988 pennies have the close AM design, but if you've got the wide one, you're sitting on a jackpot. Why does this happen? Sometimes during the production process, dies from different years get mixed in by accident. It's like putting 2024 rims on a 1995 Honda. It doesn't seem like a big deal until someone notices and the value skyrockets. Now, let's talk money. One of these beauties, in top condition, has already sold at auction for $1.3 million. That's not monopoly money, folks. That's quit your job and buy a cabin in the woods kind of money. Even if your coin isn't in perfect shape, it can still be worth thousands. The condition, known as the coin's grade, plays a huge role. Coins in mint state, meaning barely touched, clean, and shiny, command the highest prices. But even a circulated one with light wear could bring in a solid payday. Now let me tell you a little story about how I almost missed out on a lucky find. A few years back, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage, which, by the way, looked like a thrift store collided with a junkyard, and we came across an old metal tin full of pennies. He told me to dump it, but something told me to take a peek. I spent the whole weekend sorting those pennies, squinting at dates and mint marks like some kind of coin detective. And wouldn't you know it, I found a rare 1992 penny with the wrong AM spacing. It wasn't worth millions, but I sold it for a few $100. My uncle was floored. He tried to take it back, but I told him he should have offered me pizza for my labor. He still brings it up at every family gathering. That experience taught me something. Most people never check their change. They don't look at the tiny details. But the folks who do, they're the ones finding the treasures. You don't need a metal detector or a magnifying glass the size of a dinner plate. You just need a little patience and a good eye. If you've got a jar of old pennies collecting dust, it's time to take a look. Grab a magnifying glass, flip those coins over, and look for that wide AM on the back of a 1988 penny with no mint mark. You might just be holding on to $1 million mistake. And even if you don't find the big one, it's a fun way to connect with history and maybe make a little side cash. Because let's be real, no one's getting rich off soda can returns. If you found this video helpful, fun, or just a good excuse to rummage through your coin stash, hit that like button and make sure to subscribe. I've got plenty more videos coming your way on coins that are worth serious money, plus strategies for building your own valuable collection without breaking the bank. Hey there, folks. Have you ever looked at a dirty old penny and thought, nah, that's just 1 cent, right? Well, buckle up, because today I'm about to blow your mind with a coin that most people would toss into a tip jar without thinking twice. We're talking about the 1964 D Lincoln penny. Not just any old penny, though. This bad boy is worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $1.4 million. For a penny. So before you dump out your piggy bank or cash in that jar of coins for a coffee, sit tight. This might just be the most profitable 10 minutes you've ever spent on YouTube. Or, well, 40 minutes. But trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to be checking your change like your life depends on it. Let's rewind for a second and talk about what makes the 1964 D Lincoln penny so special. Now, 1964 was the last year the Lincoln penny was made entirely from copper. After that, the U.S. Mint started mixing things up, literally, with a copper-coated zinc composition that just doesn't have the same weight, feel, or value. So right off the bat, a 1964 penny is more desirable to collectors simply because it's made of 95% copper. But the real kicker? That little letter D under the date. That stands for the Denver Mint, and it's your first clue you might be sitting on a small fortune. Most 1964 D pennies aren't worth much. Maybe a few cents if they're in average condition. But here's where it gets juicy. Some rare versions of this coin have mint errors or perfect mint state conditions that drive collectors absolutely wild. We're talking pristine surfaces, flawless strikes, and sometimes a little mystery, like a double die or an off-center strike. These rare features can boost a coin's value from pocket change to a paycheck or a private jet. Well, that coin was graded as a mint state 68 red by a top grading service. Let me break that down for you. A grade of MS68 means the coin is in almost perfect condition. It looks like it just rolled off the press yesterday. Shiny, sharp details, and barely a scratch on it. And that red designation? That's about the original red copper color. Most older pennies turn brown over time, but if a penny holds onto that bright, rich, coppery red, that's like finding the fountain of youth in the coin world. Now combine that condition with low population, meaning there are only a tiny handful of coins known to be that perfect, and you've got the recipe for a $1 million penny. Or in this case, a $1.40 million penny. And hey, let me tell you a quick story. This is where it gets personal. A few years ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. He's one of those guys who throws spare change into old coffee cans. We're talking rusty, dusty, been there since the 90s type cans. I dumped one out on the table, and there must have been 200 pennies. I started sifting through them just to pass the time, and bam, 1964 D. My heart skipped. I didn't know if it was the one, but for a second, I saw the yacht, the beachfront mansion, the custom golf cart with flames on the side. It wasn't the $1 million one. It had scratches, discoloration, and I'm pretty sure someone used it to pry open a can of beans. But it lit a fire in me. That was the day I became a coin collector. Now every time I get change at the store, I'm inspecting those pennies like a detective on a crime show if I can get into this. So can you. You don't need to be a historian or a millionaire. All you need is curiosity and a little patience. Plus, it's fun. It's like treasure hunting without the shovels and pirate hats. Though I wouldn't say no to a pirate hat. So here's the deal. If you're going to start checking your pennies for big bucks, you got to know what to look for. Here are a few simple tips. First, always check the date and mint mark. If it says 1964 and there's a D under the year, pay attention. Then, check for any visible errors. Is the text doubled? Is Lincoln's head slightly off-center? Is the rim of the coin uneven? These are minting mistakes that can add serious value. And finally, condition is everything. A coin in perfect shape is like an unopened vintage action figure. Collectors go nuts for that stuff that if you think you've got a good one, take it to a professional grader. Don't just post it on eBay and hope for the best. A proper evaluation can make the difference between $10 and a new house that as of now. That top-tier 1964 D. Lincoln penny is valued at $1.4 million. That's not some urban legend or inflated price tag. That's a real sale to a real collector who had a real lot of money and a real love for shiny red pennies. The coin market is booming, folks. With inflation, crypto chaos, and the stock market flipping out every other week, people are turning to collectibles. Coins have history, beauty, and real tangible value. And that's not going away anytime soon. So the next time someone says a penny's not worth much, you can smile, reach into your pocket, and say maybe not to you, buddy, but to the right collector, this could be worth $1 million. Coins like the 1964 D. Lincoln penny are hiding in plain sight. They're out there in old jars, sock drawers, and forgotten purses. It could be sitting in your change from lunch today. All it takes is a second look and a little know-how. Now, if you found this video helpful, funny, or even just mildly entertaining, do me a solid. Hit that subscribe button. I've got more coin tips, crazy rare finds, and collecting strategies coming your way. You won't want to miss the next episode, where we talk about a nickel that sold for more than a Ferrari. Yeah, it gets wild out here. And hey, leave a comment below if you've ever found a cool coin in the wild. Or if you just want to say hi, that works too. Thanks for hanging out with me today. All right, fellas, let me ask you something. What if I told you there's a 1-cent coin? Yeah, a penny, sitting in someone's junk drawer right now that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Not a typo. $1.5 million. For a copper-colored little circle you probably walked past in a gas station parking lot this morning. Now, before you go flipping your couch cushions like a man on a mission, stick with me. Because today, we're diving deep into the wild story behind the 1995 D. Lincoln penny that's making collectors go nuts and turning regular guys into millionaires. I'm going to break it all down, throw in a little humor, and tell you how I once lost out on a small fortune because of a rookie mistake you'll definitely want to avoid. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and maybe keep a coin jar nearby. Who knows? You might be sitting on a gold mine. Well, let's rewind the clock. It's 1995. The economy's cruising, folks are still jamming to grunge, and the Denver Mint is pumping out pennies like they're going out of style. Most of those 1995 D. Lincoln pennies? Totally average. Nothing to write home about. But a few, and I mean very few, came out with something collectors would fight over. We're talking about error coins and freak of nature varieties. But here's the kicker. It's not just the errors. Some of these 1995 D pennies have pristine, museum-level quality. I'm talking about coins that never got scratched, nicked, or even breathed on wrong. Combine that with ultra-rare characteristics, and boom, you've got a coin that's now been valued at a cool $1.5 million. Condition. The rare $1 million version of the 1995 D penny is in what collectors call MS-70 condition. That's the grading scale's version of a perfect 10. It's like finding a 50-year-old Corvette with 0 miles and no scratches. Most pennies you see, they've got battle scars. Not this one. This one is mint-state showroom quality. Errors and varieties. There are a few of these 1995 D pennies with doubling errors. Basically, some of the design elements look like they're printed twice. It's a minting mistake, but in the coin world, that kind of mistake is like finding a 4-leaf clover made of gold. Rarity. You can have a great coin, but if everyone has it, it ain't worth much. But this one, it's ultra rare. Like, less than a handful have surfaced in this condition. That kind of scarcity is what makes collectors open their wallets and auction houses go wild. So back in the early 2000s, I was at a garage sale. You know the kind, sunburned dads, stale hot dogs, and tables full of random junk. I spotted this old cigar box full of coins for $5. I thought, hey, might as well. There were some wheat pennies, a couple silver dimes, and yes, a shiny 1995 D penny. I remember holding it up, thinking, man, this one looks pretty sharp, but instead of checking it or protecting it, brace yourself, I spent it. Yeah, I used it to buy a pack of gum at the gas station. That penny could have paid off my mortgage, bought me a boat, and funded my dream man cave with surround sound and a recliner that gives back massages. Lesson learned. Don't ignore the little guys, especially not the ones stamped D in 1995.AS of right now, a 1995 D Lincoln penny in ultra-high grade, and I mean top of the top, is sitting with a market value of $1.5 million. That's not internet hype. That's auction results, collector buzz, and legit valuation. It's like winning the lottery, but with better odds if you know where to look. Now, before you start flipping every penny like a Vegas card dealer, remember, condition matters. The everyday 1995 D penny? Worth a cent. Maybe a few bucks in decent shape. But the true gem, the one with that perfect grade or unique error, that's where the magic happens. Start with your change jar. Look through old rolls of pennies from the bank. Check those dusty coin albums you got from your grandpa. Heck, raid your kid's piggy bank. With permission, of course. And if you do find a shiny 1995 D penny that looks suspiciously crisp, take it to a reputable coin dealer or send it off for grading. Don't clean it. Don't scratch it. Don't bite it to check if it's real. Just store it safely and get it appraised. All right, let's bring it home. The 1995 D Lincoln penny proves that even the smallest things can carry massive value. What looks like pocket change to some is retirement money to someone who knows what to look for. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just a curious guy digging through spare change, this hobby has something for everyone, and sometimes it pays big time. If you want more insider tips, coin collecting hacks, and real stories about coins worth serious money, hit that subscribe button and join the community. We're talking pennies that can buy sports cars, nickels that'll put your kids through college, and quarters that could fund your fishing boat dreams. Don't miss out. I've got a whole treasure map of valuable coins to share with you. Subscribe, turn on those notifications, and start hunting. Who knows? That next $1 million penny might be sitting in your pocket right now. All right, folks, you might want to sit down for this one, because there's a brown little coin floating around out there that could make you a millionaire. Yep, you heard me right. It's just a penny. 1 cent. The kind you step over in a parking lot or toss into the cup holder of your car. But this isn't just any penny. This is the 2006 D Lincoln penny with a current market value of $1.6 million. I know what you're thinking. How on earth is a penny from 2006 worth that much money? I mean, that wasn't even that long ago. Gas was still under $3. We were jamming to flip phones and MySpace was still cooler than Facebook. But hang tight because I'm going to tell you exactly what makes this penny so valuable, how you might have one sitting in your jar of spare change, and why collectors are going wild trying to find it. And yes, I'll throw in a story about how I once accidentally gave away a rare coin for a bag of beef jerky. Still not over it. Let's start with the basics. The 2006 D Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint, hence the D Mint mark right under the year. Most of these pennies are perfectly normal and worth well, about a penny. But every now and then one sneaks through with a rare and valuable error. That's where the magic happens. So what makes this particular 2006 D penny worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million? It's all about the error, baby. This one has a rare die clash and a double die obverse. That means the design was stamped slightly off, creating a sort of ghosted or shadowed look, especially on Lincoln's face and the inscriptions. When the minting machines mess up and create these oddball coins, collectors go bananas over them. It's like a golden ticket from Willy Wonka's factory, but instead of chocolate, you get cold hard cash. And let's be honest, a chocolate coin just doesn't taste as sweet as a $1.6 million payday. Now you might be wondering how many of these error pennies are out there. The answer is not many. This is one of those blink and you miss it coins that you could easily overlook if you're not paying attention. That's why it's crucial to know what to look for. Point 1, slight doubling in the words, "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." 2, a faint image of Lincoln's face or other design elements ghosted behind the normal strike. 3, unusual textures or extra metal that look like little blobs or trails. If you find one with all those traits, you better treat that coin like royalty. Wrap it in a napkin, put it in a Ziploc bag, hide it in your sock drawer, and start shopping for Lamborghinis. All right, now let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market digging through a big old bucket of coins. I was looking for wheat pennies because they're my weakness. Suddenly, I spot this shiny 2006 D penny with a weird-looking Liberty stamp. I had a hunch, but the guy selling it just saw a shiny penny and threw it in with the rest. I offered him $1 for the whole handful of coins. He laughed, said sure, and handed me a plastic baggie full of loose change. Now this part still haunts me. On the way home, I got hungry and stopped at a gas station. Reached in my pocket for a snack. Somehow that 2006 deep penny ended up on the counter. I didn't realize it till hours later. I went back, asked the cashier if he'd seen it, and he just shrugged and said, "Buddy, they're all the same to me." My stomach still turns every time I buy beef jerky. Oh yeah, maybe that was the penny. Maybe it wasn't. But if you're watching this and you've got some 2006 deep pennies in your house, I'm begging you, check them out. Don't let $1 million coin end up buying a Slim Jim. Now as for the market value, this rare 2006 deep penny has sold at private auctions for up to $1.6 million. Collectors and dealers are always watching listings and sales, trying to snag these rare finds before someone else does. And as more people become aware of it, the price just keeps climbing. This isn't some made-up price tag, it's backed by real sales to real people with deep coin-collecting pockets. So what does this mean for you? It means your junk drawer could be a gold mine. That piggy bank on your dresser, that old coffee can full of coins from your grandpa's garage, you need to start digging. The cool thing is you don't need fancy equipment to check your coins. Just your eyeballs, a decent light, and a magnifying glass if you've got one. And a little patience. Hey, it's a lot more exciting than scrolling through social media for the 100th time. Let's recap real quick. A regular old penny from 2006 with a D mint mark could be worth $1.6 million if it has the right heirs. We're talking die clash doubling and all that beautiful mint-made chaos that makes collectors lose their minds. If you find one, you're not just lucky, you're living the dream. You can frame that coin, take a selfie with it, name your dog Lincoln, whatever makes you happy. Just don't spend it on beef jerky like I might have done. Now, before you run off to tear apart your coin jar, do me one favor. Hit that subscribe button. I'm always dropping tips, tricks, and stories about coins that are worth way more than you'd expect. From pennies to quarters to the oddball nickels you'd never think twice about, we cover it all here. Turn on those notifications so you don't miss out, because who knows, your next $1 million coin might be hiding under the couch cushions right now. Hey folks, let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever had a penny in your pocket that could buy you a house, a boat, and still leave you with enough to take a year-long vacation? Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're talking about a little copper coin that might just blow your socks off. We're diving into the story of the 2004 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's been turning heads and wallets, and it's currently valued at a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.7 million for a single penny. That's the kind of return that even Wall Street folks would drool over. Now, before you go flipping your couch cushions or robbing your piggy bank, hang tight. I'm going to tell you exactly what to look for, how to spot the difference, and why this coin is causing such a buzz. Plus, I've got a funny little story involving a penny, a gas station, and a conversation with a very confused cashier that you don't want to miss. Let's get into it. Body, all right. So first things first. What's the deal with this 2004 Lincoln penny, and why is it worth more than most folks' homes? Well, the magic is all in the minting. In 2004, billions of Lincoln cents were minted, but a teeny tiny number of them came out with a major error. They were struck with no mint mark. Normally, pennies from Philadelphia also lack a mint mark, so you might be thinking, big whoop, no mint mark equals Philly mint. These specific 2004 pennies weren't supposed to be missing their marks, and they exhibit some very specific errors that make them extremely rare. Combine that rarity with the right condition, and boom, you've got a seven-figure coin sitting in the palm of your hand. Let's break it down a bit. These rare pennies usually have strong strike errors or unusual die varieties. We're talking things like off-center strikes, double dies, or even the wrong planchet being used. That's coin nerd talk for when the metal disc isn't what it's supposed to be. Imagine trying to make a cookie using a tortilla instead of cookie dough. It comes out looking strange, but in the coin world, strange equals valuable. Now, here's where condition plays a huge part. If your penny has been riding in your pocket for the last 20 years, rubbing against keys, change, and God knows what else, it's probably not worth much more than face value. But if it's been sitting in a collection, perfectly preserved in something called mint state, we're talking sharp details, no scratches, and all the luster, that's when collectors start throwing big money on the table. One pristine example of this 2004 no-mint mark penny recently fetched $1.7 million at a private auction. That's not monopoly money, folks. That's real cash. Now, let me hit you with a quick personal story. A few years back, I was at this sketchy gas station just off a two-lane road in the middle of nowhere. Flickering lights, questionable hot dogs rolling on the grill, and a bathroom you only enter if you're feeling brave. I grabbed a soda, went to pay, and handed the guy a buck and a handful of change, including a 2004 penny I just found in the cup holder of my truck. The guy behind the counter stares at the penny and goes, "Hey, you know this might be worth something." I laughed and said, "Sure, maybe it'll pay off my mortgage." We both had a chuckle, and I walked out without giving it a second thought. And wouldn't you know it, I dug through a jar of coins last week and found another 2004 penny with no mint mark. This time, I didn't laugh. I grabbed my magnifying glass like I was Sherlock Holmes and started inspecting every detail. Spoiler alert, it wasn't the $1 million one, but you better believe I check every penny now like it's a winning lottery ticket. And that's what I want you to take away from this video. You never know what you're holding until you really look. So how can you tell if you've got one of these high-value 2004 pennies? Next, inspect for unusual characteristics like doubling in the letters or numbers, off-center strikes, or signs the coin was struck on the wrong metal. And of course, the overall condition matters more than you think. Scratches, dents, or wear can tank the value faster than dropping your phone face down on concrete. If you think you've got a winner, get it graded. There are professional coin grading services like PCGS and NGC that'll give you the official lowdown. Yes, it costs a little bit, but if your penny is worth $1 million or more, that's the best investment you'll ever make. All right, my friends, let's wrap this up. Who would have thought a little copper coin from 2004 could be worth more than a Lamborghini? But that's the fun of coin collecting. Treasures are hiding right under our noses, sometimes in your pocket or tucked away in a jar above the fridge. The next time someone tells you pennies are worthless, you can smile and tell them that 1 cent might just be worth a cool 1.7 million. Just imagine the look on their face. Now, before you run off to check every penny you own, do me a quick favor. If you enjoyed this video, smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on tips, tricks, and the next big coin that could change your life. I've got more videos coming that'll help you build your own treasure chest right from pocket change. And hey, leave a comment down below. Have you ever found a rare coin in your change? I'd love to hear your stories, and who knows, maybe you've got the next $1 million penny. Hey folks, let me ask you something. Have you ever reached into your pocket, pulled out some change, and just knew there was something special in there? No? Well, maybe you should start looking a little closer because one tiny copper coin from 1968 with a little D on it, yeah, the one from Denver, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. That's right. One single penny. Not a $100 bill, not a gold coin from ancient Rome, an everyday, seemingly ordinary Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, before you run to your junk drawer and dump your coin jar on the table, let me take you on a ride through the fascinating and sometimes ridiculous world of valuable coins. And stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know why the 1968 D penny is worth a small fortune, but you'll also hear a personal story that just might inspire you to check your pockets a whole lot more carefully. Let's rewind back to 1968. Gas was around 34 cents a gallon, the Beatles were topping the charts, and your grandma was probably putting away green stamps. And the US Mint? Oh, they were just cranking out coins like there was no tomorrow, including our star today, the 1968 D Lincoln penny. Now here's the deal. Millions of these pennies were made in Denver that year. So you might be thinking, wait, how the heck is one of them worth $1.8 million? Great question. Not all 1968 D pennies are created equal. The $1 million value comes from a rare error, a perfect storm of minting madness. We're talking about an ultra-rare double die obverse error, where the design on the front of the coin, Lincoln's face, and the lettering gets stamped twice, but slightly off, giving it a shadowed or doubled look. Think of it like a mint employee had one too many cups of coffee and forgot to line things up just right. That tiny mistake? Turns out it can make a penny worth more than most people's entire car collection. And if that doubling is bold and clear, especially on the words liberty and "in God we trust," you just might have hit the coin collector's jackpot. But wait, there's more. It's not just about the doubling. The condition of the coin matters a ton. A 1968 D penny with this rare error in near-perfect condition, like mint state, can fetch up to $1.8 million. And yes, people have paid that much because coin collectors are a passionate bunch with deep pockets. Now, let me drop a little personal story on you. A few years ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. You know how it is, old boxes, spider webs, a lawnmower that hasn't started since 1997. In one of the dusty drawers, we found a metal tin packed full of coins, mostly modern stuff, a few wheat pennies, some Canadian nickels, and one 1968 D penny that caught my eye. I just have an unhealthy love for coin collecting, but something looked off. I squinted at it and thought, could it be a double die? We got it checked out. Turned out it wasn't the $1 million version, but it still sold for a couple $100. And that's when I realized, most people have no idea what they're sitting on. Imagine if my uncle had just thrown that coin tin in the trash. That's like lighting money on fire, folks. Here are some tips. First, grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look closely at the date, the word liberty, and the motto, "I in God we trust." If you see clear doubling, don't toss it. Protect it. Get it looked at by a reputable coin dealer or grading service. Second, condition matters. A shiny, scratch-free penny is going to do way better than one that looks like it survived a tornado. And third, this is key, don't clean the coin. Ever. I know it's tempting, but cleaning it actually lowers its value. Coin collectors love the natural look, like it just emerged from a time capsule. Now, let's talk market value. The $1.8 million price tag isn't something you see every day, but it's happened. These high-value coins often sell at auction, where bidding wars break out faster than you can say numismatics. In fact, in recent years, a few of these rare 1968 D double die pennies have been appraised and sold for over $1 million. It all comes down to rarity, condition, and good old-fashioned demand. And the demand? It's only growing. Never underestimate your change. That little copper coin with a D under the date could be your ticket to a better car, a bigger house, or heck, a vacation that doesn't involve a tent and a campground toilet. If you learned something today, or if you're already running for your sock drawer to dig through coins, then you, my friend, are in the right place. Discovering hidden treasures, learning how to spot rare errors, and hearing stories about everyday people striking it rich with pocket change. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more coin tips, tricks, and crazy stories coming your way. Because trust me, you don't want to miss the next $1 million coin that might be hiding right under your nose. Alright fellas, let me ask you something right off the bat. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny? I mean really looked at it. Not just tossed it into the change jar or left it behind at the gas station counter. Because let me tell you something that might just flip your entire world upside down. There's a 1993 D Lincoln penny out there, and it is worth a jaw-dropping $2.8 million. And before you say, nah, that's gotta be a myth, I'm here to walk you through every juicy detail. This is not some fairy tale or internet rumor. This is the kind of coin that could turn your glove box into a gold mine. So hang tight, grab a cup of coffee, and let's dive into why this little copper-colored coin is worth big-time cash. Let's start with the basics. The 1993 D Lincoln penny. D stands for the Denver Mint, by the way. Not dollar signs, though in this case, it might as well. So why is this penny worth millions? After all, there were over 6 billion of these minted. That's billion with a B. The vast majority of them? Worth exactly 1 cent. Maybe 2 if someone's feeling generous. But a very rare few, and I mean very rare, came out with some wild errors or had qualities that make collectors go absolutely bananas. Now one particular 1993 D penny sold for $2.8 million. And it wasn't because it was dipped in gold or had Abe Lincoln doing a moonwalk. It was because of a combination of minting anomalies, condition, and collector demand. Let's break that down. Errors and anomalies. In the world of coin collecting, errors are like unicorns. Some of these pennies had double dies. That means some of the text or Lincoln's face might be slightly doubled. It's subtle, but to the trained eye, it's like finding a golden ticket. Others might have off-center strikes, missing letters, or strange metal compositions. Imagine flipping your penny and seeing that it's printed halfway off the edge. Sounds like a mistake, right? Well, collectors eat that stuff up. Next is condition. This $1 million baby? It was graded MS-70. That's mint state perfection. Not a single scratch, ding, or fingerprint. It looked like it came straight out of the mint and floated to earth on a cloud. Most pennies from 1993 have lived hard lives, bouncing around pockets, riding in old coffee cans, and surviving countless laundromat cycles. But this one? Pristine. Absolute showroom condition. And finally, collector demand. The Lincoln penny is iconic. Honest Abe's been staring back at us since 1909, and collectors love a good underdog story. A 1-cent coin turning into millions? That's the kind of twist that gets the hobby buzzing. Rich collectors, auction houses, and museums all want a piece of the action. Now, let me hit you with a personal story. Back when I was in high school, I worked at this greasy spoon diner flipping pancakes and bussing tables. The tips weren't great, mostly quarters and pennies. One night, I was counting out change to a customer when I dropped a few coins. I bent down and spotted a weird-looking penny. It looked off, the color was strange, and Lincoln's head looked like he had a double chin. I kept it, tossed it in my drawer at home, and forgot about it. Years later, I got into coin collecting, dug through my old drawer and found that penny again. Turns out, it was a 1972 double die, not quite a millionaire maker, but it got me a few $100. Moral of the story? Look at your change, people. You never know when something's going to turn from pocket lint to pure profit. Go grab every penny you've got. Check the date. If you see 1993 with a D under the year, give it a good look. Grab a magnifying glass. Look for doubling on the words liberty or in God we trust. Check Lincoln's face. Is it clear and sharp? Are the edges crisp? Is the coin shiny enough to reflect your face like a mirror? You might be holding something more valuable than your car. And don't just check the pennies. Dig through all your coins. There are hidden gems everywhere. Quarters, nickels, even those beat-up old dimes you've been ignoring. The world of coin collecting is full of stories like this. Regular folks finding fortune in the couch cushions. If you've got a penny from 1993 with a little D mint mark, you might just be sitting on a fortune. The coin world is full of surprises, and sometimes the biggest treasures come in the smallest packages. You don't need to be a millionaire to become one. Sometimes, all it takes is a keen eye and a little luck. If this kind of stuff gets your gears turning, if you want more tips, tricks, and deep dives into coins that could change your life, hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell so you don't miss a single coin worth cash. We've got stories, strategies, and some good old-fashioned coin nerd fun heading your way every week. Hey there, folks. Have you ever dropped a penny and thought, not worth bending over for? Well, after today's video, you might just start diving headfirst for every penny you see. Why? Because there's a 2003 Lincoln penny out there without a mint mark that's worth a jaw-dropping $2.9 million. That's right, not $29, not $29,000. We're talking millionaire-level money here, all from a single, unassuming penny. Now before you go flipping over every couch cushion and raiding your change jar like a pirate on a treasure hunt, sit tight. We're diving into what makes this little copper beauty so dang valuable, how to tell if you've got one, and why collectors are ready to sell their grandmas for it. And trust me, I've got a little story about a penny in a gas station that'll make you want to check every coin that crosses your path. So grab a drink, settle in, and let's have some fun talking coins worth money. You won't want to miss this. All right, let's start with the basics. The 2003 Lincoln penny we're talking about was minted without a mint mark. Now normally, that's not a huge deal. Tons of pennies are made in Philadelphia, and they usually skip the mint mark. But this one is different. It's got a combo of crazy features that sent its value soaring straight to the moon. First off, the rarity. This isn't just a normal 2003 penny. This one has some serious quirks. Collectors believe only a few exist in this pristine condition with its specific error patterns. The penny was struck on a bronze planchet, something that hasn't been the norm since 1982. That's already unusual. But on top of that, it has a striking die alignment error, plus extremely sharp details, meaning it was likely one of the first coins struck with a fresh die. Basically, it's the coin equivalent of finding a perfectly preserved classic car sitting in a barn under a tarp. And here's where it gets juicy. A verified 2003 no mint mark Lincoln penny with these characteristics sold for a whopping $2.9 million at auction. $2.9 million. That's enough to buy a mansion, a yacht, and still have change left for a lifetime supply of pocket change jokes. Now you might be wondering, okay, but how the heck do I know if I've got one? Great question. A distinct reddish bronze color instead of the modern copper-plated zinc look. Clean, sharp strike details, especially around Lincoln's coat and beard. A slightly misaligned eye strike, but still centered enough to be considered high quality. If you're not sure, your best bet is to take it to a reputable coin dealer or send it in to be graded. Because if you've got the penny, it's payday, baby. Now let me tell you about the time I almost threw away a valuable coin. This was a few years ago. I was running late, low on gas, and I stopped at a sketchy gas station off the highway. You know the type. Flickering lights, One lonely guy behind the counter who looks like he hasn't slept since the 90s that I toss a 5 on the counter and get some snacks. The guy gives me change, and one of the pennies catches my eye. It had that old school color. Felt heavier too. I thought, maybe I should check this out. But I was in a rush, so I almost left it behind. Something told me to hold on to it. Long story short, it wasn't worth millions, but it was a rare 1972 double die penny that I ended up selling for over 400 bucks. And let me tell you, nothing makes a snack run feel more epic than turning a penny into enough cash to buy steak dinners for a week. That experience taught me one thing: never ignore your pocket change. There's treasure in those tiny circles of metal. Now, the 2003 penny isn't the only one with value. The world of error coins and rare strikes is wild. We're talking double dies, off-center strikes, planchet errors, transitional metals, you name it. It's like Pokemon for adults, but instead of catching them all, you're hunting for that one special find that could change your life. The key is knowing what to look for and keeping your eyes open. Because every now and then, someone finds a coin at a garage sale, or in a tip jar, or stuck to the bottom of their car's cup holder, and it ends up being worth more than their car. And that's why I do what I do here. Help folks like you turn everyday pocket change into potential fortunes. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who hates breaking a dollar, there's always a chance that one little penny could make a big difference to us. Oh, here's the deal. If you've got a jar of coins sitting at home, go through it. If your grandma gives you a bag of old pennies from the attic, go through it. And the next time you're tempted to ignore a penny on the ground, pick it up. You never know when that one coin could be the 2003 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny worth $2.9 million. And if you're just starting out or want to get deeper into this coin collecting thing, you're in the right place. I'm here every week with new tips, coin values, wild stories, and real strategies to turn your hobby into something that might just make you rich, or at least impress your friends at the next barbecue. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like, and ring the bell so you never miss a coin that could be hiding right under your nose. And hey, share this video with a friend, especially that one guy who's always saying, pennies are useless. Let's see how he feels when he finds out a single one could have made him a millionaire. What if I told you that a single penny, 1 cent, could be worth more than your car, your house, your cousin's fishing boat, and your neighbor's riding mower all put together? No joke. I'm talking about a 1973 Lincoln penny with no mint mark that's currently valued at a jaw-dropping $3 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $3 million. Now, before you start flipping your couch cushions looking for spare change, stick around because in this video, I'm breaking down exactly what makes this unassuming little coin so valuable, how to tell if you've got one, and how this tiny copper piece can flip your fortune. Plus, I've got a personal story about how a simple coin hunt turned into one of the weirdest family reunions I've ever had. Trust me, you don't want to miss that. So grab a coffee, or a soda, or if you're really into coins, maybe a magnifying glass, and let's dive in. Alright, so let's start with the basics. The 1973 Lincoln penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Series, which ran from 1959 to 2008. Most of the 1973 pennies were minted either in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. The Denver ones have a D, San Francisco ones have an S, and the Philadelphia ones? Well, they don't have a mint mark at all. They just look plain. And for most people, that's where the story ends. See, in 1973, the U.S. Mint cranked out billions of these pennies. That's right, with a B. So the average 1973 penny is only worth face value. Maybe a few cents if it's shiny and you're lucky. But there's a version of the 1973 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that breaks all the rules. This bad boy isn't just rare. It's like winning the lottery while catching a home run ball at the World Series rare. We're talking about a specific error coin. A few of these 1973 no-mint Mark pennies were struck using a special experimental metal composition. They weren't supposed to get out to the public, but a few slipped through the cracks, either by mistake or because someone at the mint wanted to spice up their day. That's step one. If there's a little D or S under the year, sorry buddy, it's not the jackpot. You're still cool though. This rare penny was struck on an aluminum planchet. That means it weighs only about 0.93 grams. Regular pennies weigh 3.11 grams. If you've got one that feels suspiciously light, break out the scale. Aluminum has a lighter silverish color and a very different ring when you drop it on a table. Just don't go chucking your coins around like a blackjack dealer. Be gentle. These experimental coins were struck with high pressure and have super sharp details. If the lines on Lincoln's coat are crisp and the letters look like they were laser cut, you might be onto something. If you think you've got the magic coin, don't just stick it in your sock drawer or use it for a scratch-off ticket. Send it to a professional grading service. They'll verify it, seal it, and make sure you're not imagining things. Now let's talk about the money part. The latest verified sale of one of these 1973 no-mint mark experimental pennies? $3 million. That's 3 followed by 6 zeros. Some people work 40 years and don't see that kind of money. And it could be hiding in a penny jar under your bed.so. A while back, my uncle, good ol, Uncle Larry, decided to clean out his garage for the first time since the 80s. He's the kind of guy who saves everything. I'm talking about rusty nails, broken fans, and about 17 coffee cans full of coins. He called me up and said, "Hey, you're the coin guy, right? Come take a look at this stuff." So I roll up to his house, expecting maybe a few wheat pennies or a silver dime if we're lucky. And what do I find? Not one, but 2 1973 pennies with no mint mark. I practically lost my mind. Now, neither one turned out to be the legendary aluminum penny, but the look on Uncle Larry's face when I told him one was worth at least 15 bucks. Man lit up like a Christmas tree. While we were sorting through coins, we found a 1970 small date penny that turned out to be worth a couple $100. Not bad for an afternoon of digging through dust and spider webs. Uncle Larry was so hyped, he started calling himself Coin Daddy for a week. Don't ask. So here's the bottom line, folks. That little penny you've got sitting in your change jar might just be your golden ticket. Especially if it's a 1973 with no mint mark, aluminum, and all the right traits. It might be worth a fortune. And even if it's not the $1 million one, coin collecting is a hobby that can actually pay off. And hey, it's a heck of a lot of fun. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that could make you rich, or at least make your Uncle Larry dance in the garage, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you don't miss a single episode. I've got more secrets, more strategies, and more $1 million coin stories coming your way. Hey there, coin hunters and pocket change detectives. What if I told you that a single penny could be worth over $3 million? Yeah, you heard that right. 1 cent. $3.1 million. That's the kind of profit margin even Warren Buffett would high-five you for. So before you toss that jar of pennies in the Coinstar machine or let it collect dust in your closet, listen up. Because somewhere in all that coppery goodness might be a 2008 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that could change your life forever. And no, this isn't one of those late-night infomercial scams. We're talking about a real coin with real collectors throwing down real cash. $3.1 million real. Now, let me tell you a quick story to kick things off. A few years ago, I was helping my buddy move. You know how that goes. Pizza, heavy boxes, and questionable furniture choices. Anyway, we're cleaning out this old coin jar he had stashed in the back of his closet. I mean, it looked like it hadn't been touched since Blockbuster was still a thing. I start sorting through it out of pure boredom, and boom, there it was. A weird-looking penny. No mint mark. I didn't think much of it at the time, but it turns out it was one of the rare types. Not this exact one, but enough to get me hooked on coin collecting. And now here I am, telling you how a penny can buy you a beachfront condo and a year's supply of tacos. Here's the scoop. Most modern pennies are going to have a little letter under the year. That letter tells you which mint it came from. A D means Denver. An S means San Francisco. A P means Philadelphia. Although oddly enough, Philadelphia usually doesn't even stamp the P on pennies. Weird, I know, but what makes the 2008 no-mint mark penny stand out is that it wasn't supposed to go out like that. It's kind of like a celebrity showing up at the Oscars in pajamas. It's not normal, and collectors love abnormal. The no-mint mark 2008 penny is a rare error coin. It slipped through the cracks. Probably minted in Philadelphia, but missing the mint mark altogether. These kinds of mistakes are a big deal in the coin world. Error coins can fetch huge prices, especially if they're in great condition. Now let's talk value. As of right now, the best preserved example of this penny has a current market value of $3.1 million. That's not a typo. That's not wishful thinking. That's a real, verified sale from a collector who wanted this piece of history bad enough to make it rain like a rap video. Number 1. Rarity. Only a few of these have been found. They're like the Bigfoot of pocket change. Number 2. Condition. If your 2008 no mint mark penny looks like it took a ride in the garbage disposal, it's probably not worth millions. But if it's in pristine, mint state condition, now you're talking. Number 3, demand. Coin collectors are a passionate bunch. Some of these folks will pay top dollar for a coin that completes their collection or fills a rare gap in their stash. Now I know what you're thinking. How the heck do I know if I have one? Look for a 2008 penny. Flip it over and make sure Lincoln's memorial is on the back, not the shield. That design didn't start until 2010. Next, look under the year. If there's no mint mark at all, no D, no S, no P, you might be onto something. And lastly, check the condition. If it's shiny, crisp, and hasn't been in circulation long, it's got a better shot at being the million-dollar version. Take it to a professional coin dealer or grading service. These folks have seen it all and can tell you if you're holding pocket change or potential profit. I learned the hard way not to assume anything. One time I thought I found a rare 1969 S double die penny. I was shaking like a leaf. I practically sprinted to the local coin shop. Turns out I just needed glasses. It was a perfectly ordinary coin that had lived a hard life in someone's ashtray. But hey, that's the thrill of the hunt, right? Well, don't go spending it at the gas station. That's for sure that you'll want to get it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Once it's graded, you'll have a certificate to prove it's the real deal. Then you can auction it off or sell it directly to a collector who's been hunting for it like Indiana Jones. And just for fun, imagine what you'd do with $3.1 million. Pay off the mortgage, retire early, buy that fancy riding lawnmower you've had your eye on, or maybe you just frame the penny and hang it on the wall like a trophy. Either way, it's a story you'll be telling for the rest of your life. That little copper coin you ignore every day could be a gold mine. The 2008 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is one of the rarest and most valuable error coins floating around. It's worth checking your change. Seriously, what do you have to lose? The next time you're stuck on the couch with a jar of pennies and nothing good on TV, start hunting. Who knows? You might just uncover a $3 million surprise hiding under your nose. And if you love coins, collecting, or just enjoy making money from stuff people overlook, hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of tips, coin hunting strategies, and stories just like this coming your way. Don't miss out on the next big find. Your million-dollar penny could be just one video away. Hey there, folks, listen up. You might want to stop what you're doing and check your pockets, your couch cushions, that dusty old coin jar on top of the fridge, or even that random drawer in the kitchen everybody calls the junk drawer. Because today, we're talking about a penny. Yes, a penny. Not just any penny, though. This little copper-colored miracle is a 1982 no mint mark Lincoln penny, and it's worth a jaw-dropping $3.2 million. That's right, $3.2 million. For a coin most people would walk right past on the sidewalk. Now, before you go flipping over every penny like a maniac, let me walk you through the why, the how, and the holy cow you gotta see this of this legendary coin. I've got the facts, a personal story that'll make you laugh and cry, and all the juicy details to help you become a smarter collector, or at least make you double-check your change next time you buy a coffee.so, grab a snack, kick back. And let's dive deep into the mystery, history, and money-making magic of the 1982 no mint mark Lincoln penny. All right, let's break it down. The 1982 Lincoln penny is not just one coin. In fact, 1982 was kind of a wild year for the U.S. Mint. It was like they couldn't make up their mind. You see, in 1982, the Mint transitioned from using copper to a cheaper zinc core with a thin copper coating. That means there were a total of 7 different variations of the 1982 penny. Yes, 7. We're talking about large date, small date, copper, zinc, mint marks, no mint marks, you name it. Now the one we're focused on is the 1982 no mint mark Lincoln penny. And here's the kicker, it's made of copper. That might not sound like a big deal, but most of the no mint mark pennies that year were supposed to be zinc. So finding a no mint mark copper penny from 1982? That's like finding a 4-leaf clover inside a unicorn's lunchbox. It's rare, it's valuable, and it's very, very real. Basically, the Mint was producing both types of coins at the same time for a while during 1982. And in the chaos, some copper planchets, those are blank coins for all you beginners out there, got stamped without a mint mark when they weren't supposed to. Boom. Instant $1 million mistake. But how can you tell if you've got one of these rare beauties? The copper version weighs 3.11 grams, while the zinc ones weigh only 2.5 grams. You'll need a digital scale, not your bathroom scale. Don't toss a penny on the floor and expect it to shout out its weight. Now let's talk market value. The most famous 1982 no-mint mark copper penny sold at auction for a whopping $3.2 million. That's more than most folks' homes. Heck, that's more than 3 homes and a boat. Let's retire to a beach in Hawaii money. Okay, let me tell you a story. So a few years back, I was at my grandma's house. You know, the kind of place where time stands still. She had this old cookie tin full of coins. Now, I'm not saying I was snooping, but I was definitely snooping. I opened that tin and started poking through it. I found some old nickels, a 1943 steel penny which I thought was cool, and then, bam, there it was. A 1982 penny with no mint mark. My heart nearly stopped. I ran home like a kid with a golden ticket. I bought a little digital scale off the internet, waited 3 agonizing days for it to arrive, and when it did, I held my breath and put that penny on the scale. It read 2.5 grams. I was crushed. Turns out it was a zinc one, not copper. Still worth checking, but no Hawaiian beach house for me. Moral of the story? Sometimes you gotta dig through a lot of coins to find the treasure. But the thrill of the hunt, that's the fun part. 1. Don't underestimate a penny, especially not a 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln penny made of copper. 2. Always carry a little scale and a little hope. You never know when luck will strike. And 3. Your grandma's cookie tin might just be a treasure chest in disguise. Now, if you're thinking, man, I need to learn more about this coin collecting thing, then you're in the right place. This channel is all about finding hidden value in everyday change, sharing tips and stories that'll help you build your coin collection, and maybe even get rich doing it. So don't just sit there. Smash that subscribe button like it owes you money. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next video. And if you've got a cool coin story, drop it in the comments. I read every one of them. Hey folks, let me ask you something. When's the last time you really looked at your pennies? I mean, not just glanced, but actually took a second to flip it over, squint your eyes, and maybe even pull out a magnifying glass like a detective from a crime show. Well, you might want to start doing that, because sitting in your coin jar, your junk drawer, or even down between your couch cushions could be a 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny worth a jaw-dropping $3.3 million. Yeah, you heard me right. A single copper penny. $3.3 million. It might be hiding right under your nose. Or your remote control. Whichever you check more often. Now before you go flipping over every coin like a raccoon in a trash can, stick around. Because today we're diving deep into what makes this penny so special, how to spot it, and why someone just might hand over millions of dollars for what used to buy you a gumball. Alright, so let's roll it back to 1972. Nixon was in office, bell-bottoms were flapping in the breeze, and America was pumping out copper pennies like nobody's business. Over 5.5 billion Lincoln cents were minted that year. That's billion with a B. So what makes one of those little guys worth as much as a Beverly Hills mansion? The key is the no mint mark and the double die error. Now for those new to the coin game. A mint mark is a tiny letter on a coin that tells you where it was made. A D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, and if there's nothing at all, that's Philly, baby. The 1972 penny we're talking about comes from Philadelphia, but the real treasure here is in the way it was minted. See, in 1972, a small batch of Lincoln pennies came out with what collectors call a double die obverse. That's a fancy way of saying the design on the front of the coin was stamped twice, just a hair off. And that tiny slip-up created some serious doubling in the words Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 1972. We're talking noticeable with the naked eye kind of doubling. You don't need to be a professional. You just need a steady hand and a decent pair of reading glasses. And this is where it gets wild. One of these double die, no mint mark 1972 Lincoln pennies was recently auctioned off for a record-breaking $3.3 million. That's not a typo. That's generational wealth. That's quit your job and buy a fishing boat kind of money. The answer is collectors. And not just any collectors. We're talking about elite coin investors who want that one coin that nobody else has. Rarity is everything in the coin world, and a 1972 no mint mark double die in mint condition? That's the holy grail. Let me tell you a little story real quick. A few years back, I was at a garage sale. Hot day, dusty boxes, you know the vibe. I spotted this jar labeled old change for $1. I thought, why not, right? Took it home, dumped it out on the kitchen table, and there it was. A 1972 penny that looked kind of funky. The letters were all beefy, like they had a shadow or a twin. My heart started doing backflips. I thought I'd hit the jackpot. That IT was a normal one. No doubling. Worth about 1 cent. But hey, it got me hooked on coin hunting. And that's when I really started researching what makes these coins valuable. And if you do think you've got one, get it graded. Don't just throw it on eBay and cross your fingers. Certified grading by a trusted company like PCGS or NGC can turn that mystery penny into a verified million-dollar masterpiece. Now let's talk market value. As of right now, top-graded versions of this 1972 era penny are fetching upwards of $3.3 million. Lower grades still pull in thousands. Even if your coin isn't a perfect 10, it could be worth more than your car. Maybe even your in-law's car. Don't just stop at the 1972 penny. There are tons of valuable coins out there hiding in plain sight. Coin collecting isn't just for old guys in rocking chairs anymore. It's treasure hunting. And it's fun.so. There you have it, folks. That humble little penny you've been ignoring might just be your golden ticket. The 1972 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is one of the rarest and most valuable modern coins in existence. And it could be sitting in your change jar right now, just waiting to be discovered. And let me tell you something. Whether you're a hardcore collector, just getting started, or you're that guy who dumps all his coins in the cup holder of his truck, you've got just as good a chance as anyone. Start looking. Start learning. And hey, start believing that one little coin could change your whole financial future. That if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button like you're slamming a vending machine that stole your dollar. We've got more stories, more rare finds, and more strategies to help you turn spare change into serious cash. Let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever tossed a penny aside like it's nothing more than pocket clutter? Yeah, me too. We've all done it. But what if I told you one of those plain-looking pennies, specifically a 1998 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, could be worth a jaw-dropping $3.4 million? Yep, you heard me right. One single little copper-colored coin. $3.4 million. That's not a typo. That's the kind of coin that could make your grandkids set for life. So before you go ignoring that penny at the bottom of your junk drawer, you might want to hear this story. Today, we're diving into one of the biggest hidden treasures in American coinage. I'm going to tell you what makes this coin special, how to spot one, what mistakes to look for, and how I almost lost a small fortune by not checking my change. All right, let's get into it. The 1998 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny looks just like any other penny. Copper-plated zinc, good OL, Honest Abe on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Nothing too flashy. But here's where it gets interesting. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia don't carry a mint mark, and that's totally normal. But in 1998, a teeny-tiny batch of pennies was struck with some serious errors. We're talking rare die varieties, double dies, off-center strikes, and the big one, proof errors that somehow escaped into regular circulation. Well, it's believed that this ultra-rare coin came from a misused proof die. Basically a special high-detail die meant for proof coins that accidentally got used for regular pennies. That means the detail is crisper, the finish might be a little shinier, and Abe's beard might look like it's been conditioned with fancy shampoo. On top of that, there's a particular double die error on the obverse, the front of the coin, where the lettering, especially in Liberty and I in God We Trust, shows slight but clear doubling under magnification. This wasn't caught by the mint. These bad boys made it out into the wild. They've been floating around in circulation for years. You could have one right now sitting in your car's cup holder, buried under stale French fries and gas receipts. A few years ago, I was at a flea market looking for vintage postcards. Don't judge. I've got weird hobbies, and I bought a box of them for $5. When I got home, I was flipping through them and a penny fell out of an envelope. I almost tossed it in my coin jar without looking, but something about it caught my eye. It was shinier than normal, even though it was in 1998. I stuck it in a drawer and forgot about it. I'm watching a video just like this one about rare pennies. They mentioned the 1998 no-mint Mark variety with the proof die error. I remembered that coin, dug it out, and compared it under a cheap little magnifier I got at the dollar store. My heart skipped a beat. The doubling was there. The shine was there. I sent it in for grading, and let me tell you, I didn't sleep right for a week. Now, no, mine didn't turn out to be the $3.4 million one, but it was still worth several $1,000s. For a penny that fell out of a beat-up postcard? I'll take that any day. That little experience lit a fire under me. Since then, I've been deep in the coin collecting world, learning, flipping, trading, and teaching others how to spot hidden treasures in their change. It's a blast, and once you find your first rare coin, you're hooked for life. Third, look for extra sharp detail, especially in Lincoln's beard, hair, and coat. Fourth, grab a magnifier and check the letters for doubling, particularly Liberty and Iron God we trust. Fifth, if the coin has that unusual shine and extra sharpness, it could be a proof die error. If you think you've got a winner, don't just toss it back in the jar. Get it looked at by a professional grader like PCGS or NGC. A $30 grading fee could turn into a $3.4 million payday. That's a return on investment Warren Buffett would be proud of. Rarity drives value in coin collecting. When something wasn't supposed to happen, but did, like a proof die getting used by mistake, it creates a mystery, a story. Collectors love that. Add in how few exist, and you've got the perfect storm. Plus, pennies are accessible. Everyone has them. So when a penny's worth millions, it captures the imagination. It's the ultimate underdog story. And who doesn't love a good underdog story? So the next time you get change back at the store, don't just toss it in your cup holder and forget about it. Take a moment, give those coins a once-over. You never know. You might be holding a $3.4 million secret. And hey, if a flea market postcard box could bring me a few $1,000s, imagine what's hiding in your kitchen drawer, couch cushions, or that old piggy bank your kid forgot about. If you found this video helpful or even just entertaining, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. This channel is packed with real tips, hidden gem coins, and coin collecting strategies that could put some serious cash in your pocket. We've got videos on valuable quarters, silver dimes, rare nickels, and of course, more million-dollar pennies you should be hunting for. Click that bell so you don't miss out. And let me know in the comments, what's the coolest coin you've ever found? All right, folks, grab a cup of coffee, sit down, and get ready, because today we're diving into one of the wildest stories in the world of coin collecting. I'm talking about a simple little copper penny, the kind you've probably dropped under your car seat or ignored in the bottom of a grocery store cart. But this isn't just any penny. Oh no. This is the 2014 No Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and hold on to your wallets, because this little guy is worth a jaw-dropping $3.5 million. Yeah, you heard that right. 1 cent. 3.5 million. Let that sink in for a second. You ever dream about stumbling across a life-changing treasure in your spare change? Well, this just might be your ticket. And trust me, after today, you're gonna start looking at pennies a whole lot differently. So let's break this down, have a little fun, and maybe, just maybe, help you find your million-dollar coin. Well, first things first. Most pennies minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark. That's normal. But every now and then, a few rogue coins get out of the mint with errors, tiny details that turn them into rare treasures. The 2014 No Mint Mark penny that's worth millions isn't just valuable because it's old. Because let's be honest, 2014 wasn't that long ago. It's valuable because of a combination of things: rarity, condition, a striking error, and a bit of collector hype that just keeps driving the price up. It has some serious street cred. It's got a super clean die error, meaning something went sideways during the minting process. Maybe the coin got double struck. Maybe the design is off-center. Or maybe there's a die clash or a planchet flaw that gives it a unique identity. Whatever it is, it's rare enough that collectors are drooling over it. And the icing on the cake: one of these rare 2014 Lincoln pennies, with no mint mark, graded in pristine condition, mint state 69 red, to be exact, sold for a whopping $3.5 million at a private auction. That's not a typo. $3.5 million. And the funny part? Somebody probably paid for gum with it once. I remember this one time I was standing in line at the gas station. Guy in front of me drops a handful of change on the counter. The cashier picks up a penny, squints at it, and goes, "You sure you want to spend this one?" The guy laughs and says, "It's just a penny, man." And I'm standing there, coin nerd that I am, staring at this thing like it's the Hope Diamond. I didn't get a good look, but to this day, I'm convinced that dude might have passed up a six-figure coin. Maybe even $1 million one. Moral of the story? Always double-check your pocket change. You might be richer than you think. No mint mark. Just Abe Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and no little D or S under the year. That tells you it came from Philly. The color. If it's bright red and shiny like it just came out of a wrapper, that's a good sign. Collectors love red pennies in mint condition. The redder, the better. Look for errors. Double dies, off-center strikes, missing elements. If the coin looks funky, don't toss it. You might be sitting on a gold mine in copper clothing. Grading. If you think you've got a good one, get it graded. That's how you unlock the big bucks. Professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC will slap a grade on it, seal it up, and tell the world it's legit. That's when collectors start throwing money your way. $3.5 million is no small price tag. So why would someone pay that much for a penny? It's all about the trifecta: rarity, condition, and demand. There might only be one or two in the world like it. And for the serious collector, owning the best example of a modern-era coin is like owning a Picasso or a Babe Ruth rookie card. It's status, it's bragging rights, and it's a solid investment. Plus, the market for rare coins is hotter than ever. People are dropping big bucks on collectibles, cards, comics, coins, you name it. And when you throw a unique penny into the mix, it's like fuel to the fire. So there you have it. A plain old 2014 penny. No mint mark, no frills, something you might have found stuck in your car's cup holder. Could be worth more than most people's houses. It's the ultimate underdog story in your pocket. Here's what I want you to do. After this video, go check your piggy bank, dig through your change jar, turn your couch cushions upside down. Look at every 2014 penny you've got. You never know when lightning's gonna strike. And hey, if you enjoyed this little coin adventure, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more stories, tips, and strategies coming your way to help you spot coins worth serious money. Let's turn your spare change into big change. Hit that like button, share this with your friends, and don't forget, next time someone tries to hand you a penny, take a second look. That copper disc might just be your ticket to $1 million.